Neighbors complained about the smell of death from apartment number 357 for 4 months. The police ignored them. When they finally broke down the door, they found hell inside. 82 sets of children's clothing, a girl in chains, a pot with remains on the stove, and an elderly woman who had been helping her son kill all this time. He assaulted, harmed, and consumed children. She lured them in and cooked soup. 82 victims. Russia's most horrifying family. Where are they now? And why did the mother walk free? The answers in this video. Prologue. The Apartment of Death. October evening, 1996. Novokuznetsk, 9th floor of a concrete panel building on Pionersky Prospect. Building 53. A team of plumbers is making rounds before the start of heating season. The temperature outside has dropped to 0, but the radiators in the building remain ice cold. Residents are complaining. A neighbor on the landing, Grandma Anya Usacheva, called the maintenance workers because of the cold. The plumbers knock on the door of apartment number 357. A male voice answers from inside. "I cannot open. I am locked in. I have a mental disorder." The plumbers smell a strange odor coming from under the door. This is not the smell of rotten food or sewage. This is the smell of death. They call the local police officer. When the door is broken open, nobody is inside. The window is wide open. The maniac escaped down the fire escape to the roof. What the officers saw inside turned them to stone. In the bathroom, incomplete remains of a girl. From the water tank, a separated head and rib cage protruding. In the room, on the floor, an emaciated, barely alive girl about 15 years old with injured ears. She is chained with handmade handcuffs. Mountains of children's clothing. 82 sets of blood-stained dresses, t-shirts, skirts, tights, children's shoes, jewelry, hair clips. The killer's trophies. Polaroid photographs with damaged remains before death. Pots with remains. A saw. Knives. An axe. One police officer recognizes a child's sandal. It belongs to his niece, who disappeared several months ago. The girl's parents could not enter the apartment. They did not have the strength. The officers who found the surviving girl were in shock. They had never seen a human being so harmed. Olga Galtseva, 15 years old. She gave detailed testimony in the hospital. Doctors promised she would survive. 3 days later, Olga died from peritonitis and pulmonary edema. This was apartment number 357, the apartment of death. Here lived Alexander Nikolaevich Spesivtsev with his mother Lyudmila. In 8 months of 1996, they killed at least 15 girls and young women. According to investigators, the total number of victims could be as high as 82 people. Part 1. Childhood of the Monster. How a Mother Created a Killer. Birth of the Devil. March 1st, 1970. Novokuznetsk, Kemerovo region. A boy was born underweight. His mother, Lyudmila Yakovlevna Spesivtseva, did not register him at the registry office immediately. She only did this 2 years later, never once seeking medical care. His father, Nikolai Spesivtsev, was an alcoholic and regularly beat the family. In 1974, when Sasha was 4 years old, his father left the family. Lyudmila was left alone with 2 children, her older daughter Nadezhda and little Sasha. From childhood, the bond between mother and son was pathological. Sasha slept in Lyudmila's bed until he was 12 years old. He suffered from bedwetting until age 9, but his mother did not seek medical help. She protected her son from any punishment. She refused to see deviations in his behavior. Photographs of corpses. Lyudmila Spesivtseva worked as a lawyer's assistant at the city court. She had access to criminal case files, and she brought them home. In the evenings, the mother and her 10-year-old son looked through photographs from criminal archives. Damaged remains, evidence of violence, crime scenes. Lyudmila spent hours studying the images together with Sasha. She hid nothing. She showed everything. Later, during interrogation, Alexander confessed. I had a strange feeling when I looked at the photographs. Psychologists call this death fetishization. The mother herself triggered the mechanism. She was forming, in the child's mind, a connection between death, violence, and arousal. This was a slow process. This was preparation for what would happen later. School years. At school, Sasha was an outcast. He drew swastikas and fascist symbols on bathroom walls, committed petty hooliganism, stuck matches in neighbors' door locks, damaged property. His mother always defended him. Always. She came to school and yelled at teachers. She refused to punish her son. In 1988, at age 18, Alexander was sent for compulsory treatment to a psychiatric hospital for theft. Diagnosis: paranoid schizophrenia. He left the hospital twice. Both times, he returned to his mother and committed crimes. Part 2. The first victim. Evgenia Guzelnikova, 1991. A romantic with bouquets. May 1991. Alexander Spesivtsev is 21 years old. He just got out of the psychiatric hospital for the second time. He meets a 17-year-old girl named Evgenia Guzelnikova. He courts her, reads poetry, brings flowers. He seems romantic, a little strange, but harmless. Evgenia agrees to date him. A few weeks after the relationship begins, they argue. Alexander locks the girl in the apartment. This lasts a month. An entire month Evgenia is held captive. Death from sepsis. When Evgenia dies, the official cause of death is sepsis. Her entire body is covered with purulent abscesses, marks of harm. Doctors could not establish the true cause of death. There was no investigation. The case was closed. Mother Lyudmila helped dispose of the body. She herself separated the remains, carried them outside, and buried them in a wasteland. This was the first victim. Alexander was 21 years old. He realized he could kill with impunity. After this, he went dormant for 5 years. Psychologists believe he was perfecting his technique and waiting for the right moment. Part 3. The hunt begins. February 1996. Release from the hospital. In February 1996, Alexander Spesivtsev again leaves the psychiatric hospital. He is 26 years old. He returns to his mother in apartment number 357 on Pionersky Prospect. In the summer of 1996, he asks his mother, "Find and bring me a girl." Lyudmila agrees. She becomes an active accomplice. His older sister, Nadezhda, who worked as a secretary at the same court where their mother worked, also knew about her brother's crimes. She regularly visited the apartment and helped carry out large bags with remains. The method of luring. They hunted together. Lyudmila approached girls near hospitals, stores, kiosks. She looked like an ordinary elderly woman, gray-haired, thin, small. She asked for help opening a lock in her apartment. From Olga Geltseva's testimony. A grandmother approached us. She looked very old, gray-haired, small and thin. She said she locked her door and cannot open it. The girls did not suspect danger. They went to help. And in the apartment, Alexander was already waiting for them. The death pocket. Apartment number 357 was located in the so-called pocket, a small enclosed space between the stairwell and the apartment. When the girls entered there, Spesivtsev's dog attacked them, a large German shepherd. The girls got scared and screamed. Alexander saved them, led them inside the apartment. The door slammed shut. Hell began. Part 4. September 24th, 1996. The last victims. 3 schoolgirls. September 24th, 1996. 3 girls were being treated at Novokuznetsk Hospital. Nastya, Evgenia, and Olya. They were 13 to 15 years old. They became friends in the ward. In the evening, the girls decided to leave the hospital to buy batteries for an audio player. They walked around the city, went into kiosks. Near one of the stores, an elderly woman approached them. This was Lyudmila Spesivtseva, from Olga Galtseva's testimony. The grandmother asked for help opening the door to her apartment. We went with her. First day, Nastya. When the girls entered the apartment, a man about 30 years old met them. He introduced himself as Andrei. In the apartment was also a woman about 30 years old, dark-haired, with her hair tied in a ponytail. This was Spesivtsev's sister, Nadezhda. Andrei told the girls that he had not slept for 2 days and was very angry. The girls got scared and asked to be released. He answered, "Soon someone should come, check that it is not you, and I will let everyone go." Nastya suggested to Olya a plan of escape. Nastya suggested to me to hit him with a bottle on the head and run away. The bottle was standing by the bed. I said I could not. From Olga Galtseva's testimony, Nastya decided herself. She grabbed the bottle and swung, but hit not the head but the shoulder. Spesivtsev pulled out a knife. Nastya died almost instantly. Night of separation. Quote from Olga Galtseva's testimony. When Andrei killed Nastya, at night he ordered us to separate the body into pieces to make it easier to hide. He gave us a hacksaw for metal. With it, we separated the body, removed tissue from the bones with a knife. He himself did not do this, only commanded. He fed the dog with remains. 2 girls, Evgenia and Olya, separated their friend's body with a hacksaw for metal. They removed tissue from the bones with an ordinary kitchen knife. Spesivtsev stood nearby and gave instructions. He did nothing himself. He watched. Body parts were put in the bathtub and in the water tank. Grandmother Lyudmila and sister Nadezhda were present in the apartment. They saw everything. From the testimony, he forced us to consume remains. This was not an attempt to hide evidence. This was a ritual. This was power. A month of harm. Evgenia. All the remaining days, Spesivtsev beat the girls. He broke Evgenia's arm. Several times he smashed her head, then sewed up the wounds himself with a simple needle and thread. He especially liked Evgenia. Psychologists believe he associated her with his first victim, Evgenia Guselnikova. He constantly harassed her, said, "Prove to me that you are not." He constantly examined her. After a few days he assaulted her, and assaulted her constantly. He almost did not touch Olya, only beat her. Spesivtsev forced Evgenia to harm herself, but she said she could not. She asked, "Give me some injection so I do not suffer." The maniac refused. He said, "You will suffer, and I will watch." Evgenia's death. From Olya's testimony. Last Friday morning, Andrei started assaulting Evgenia. She begged, "Don't," to which he answered that there is nothing to lose. She will die anyway. She could no longer walk, and he began to beat her. He hit her head on the floor, kicked her. He handcuffed me in the bathroom. Then he came in and asked if I knew how to do artificial respiration. Evgenia was lying on the floor and not breathing, but her heart was beating weakly. For about an hour I gave her artificial respiration, but she died. October 26th, 1996. Evgenia died. Olya was left alone. She knew she would be next. Part 5. The Assault. Rescue and Death of Olga. October 24th. Cold radiators. In Novokuznetsk, it got colder. The temperature dropped to 0, but the radiators in the building on Pioneersky Prospect remained cold. The neighbor on the landing, Grandma Anya Usacheva, called plumbers for a preventive inspection before the start of heating season. A team of plumbers made the rounds of apartments. They knocked on the door of number 357. A male voice answered from inside. "I cannot open. I am locked due to having a mental disorder." The plumbers smelled a strange odor. They called the local police officer. Spesivtsev heard the knocking. He realized the end was near. He opened the window and escaped down the fire escape to the roof. Olya heard them breaking down the door. She was afraid to scream. Spesivtsev had repeatedly said that if the police came, he would kill her immediately. What they found inside. The local officer broke down the door. Inside, officers discovered Olga Galtseva, emaciated, with injured ears, chained with handmade handcuffs. In the bathroom, incomplete remains of a girl. From the water tank, a separated head and ribcage. Mountains of children's clothing. 82 sets, shoes, jewelry, hair clips, the killer's trophies. Polaroid photographs, pots with remains. One police officer found in the pile of shoes his niece's sandal, who had gone missing several months ago. The girl's parents could not enter the apartment. They did not have the strength. The employees who saw Olya were horrified. They had never seen a human being so harmed. Testimony and death. Olya was taken to the hospital. Doctors promised she would survive. Olya gave detailed testimony against the Spesivtsevs in the intensive care ward. She told everything, about Nastya, about Evgenia, about the month of harm, about the separation, about consumption, about the mother and sister who knew everything. 3 days later, on October 26, 1996, Olga Galtseva died from peritonitis and pulmonary edema. She became the last victim of Alexander Spesivtsev. Part 6. Arrest and investigation, the capture. Spesivtsev hid for 2 days. On October 27, 1996, he was arrested at his own building entrance. He did not resist. During interrogations, he was calm. First, he confessed to 19 murders, then retracted his words. Mother and sister. Lyudmila Spesivtseva was arrested as an accomplice. The investigation established that she not only covered for the maniac, but also took direct part in the killings. She lured victims to the apartment, cooked soup from remains, separated and hid evidence. Sister Nadezhda denied her involvement. She claimed she saw the girls only once and did not suspect what was happening. No charges were brought against her, although the case materials mentioned that she was aware. The verdict. Spesivtsev was declared insane. Diagnosis: paranoid schizophrenia, predatory behavior, sadism. The investigation could prove his involvement only in 4 murders with particular cruelty. 3 victims were teenagers. Sentence: compulsory treatment in a specialized psychiatric hospital in the city of Kamushin. Lyudmila Spesivtseva received 13 years in a penal colony. She was released and now lives in one of the settlements of Yugra near Meghion. Part 7. What was found in the apartment? 82 victims. Physical evidence of horror. In apartment number 357, the following was found: 82 sets of blood-stained children's and women's clothing, children's shoes, jewelry, hair clips, Polaroid photographs with damaged remains, human body remains in different stages of decomposition, pots with remains, a saw, knives, an axe. Police carried out clothing in large sacks. This continued for several hours. 82 sets, 82 children. New investigation. 2024 to 2025. In May 2024, the Kemerovo Regional Court considered a new case against Spesivtsev. Modern DNA analysis allowed establishing the identities of victims whose bones were found in the apartment. Spesivtsev's involvement in 15 additional murders was proven. These are girls who disappeared in 1996. Quote, from MVD source. Preliminarily, there are facts of him committing murders that could not be proven in the late 90s. Now there are technologies and capabilities to confirm his guilt. Verdict. Extension of compulsory treatment, the Aba River, remains. In autumn 1996, when the rains began, children's skulls and bones began washing up on the shore in the Aba River, which winds through Novokuznetsk. Local residents still believe that the souls of murdered children inhabit apartment number 357. Part 8. The Silence of Neighbors. How did this last so long? 4 months of the smell of death. The neighbor on the landing complained for 4 months about the smell of death from apartment number 357. She called the police. The police ignored the calls. Neighbors heard girls screaming. They saw how the mother and sister of Spesivtsev regularly carried out large bags from the apartment. Nobody suspected anything, or pretended not to notice. Quote from the investigation. Police found that after leaving the treatment facility, Spesivtsev killed no fewer than 18 people. All this time, neighbors remained silent witnesses, and law enforcement did not suspect the maniac's activities. The bystander effect. Sociologists and psychologists call this the bystander effect or diffusion of responsibility. When everyone thinks someone else will call for help, when everyone is silent because they do not want to interfere. If at least one person had reacted to the screams earlier, dozens of children would have remained alive. An army of mice. When the investigation ended and the apartment was sealed, an army of mice came out of it. A gray carpet crawled down the stairs from the 9th floor to the street. Neighbors, seeing this, finally believed that the devil lived in apartment number 357. Part 9. Psychological Portrait. How is a monster created? Pathological bond with mother. Alexander Spesivtsev slept in his mother's bed until he was 12 years old. Lyudmila formed a pathological symbiotic bond in him from birth. She brought home photographs of corpses from criminal cases and showed them to her 10-year-old son. She protected him from any punishment. She did not see deviations in his behavior, or did not want to see. Quote from a psychiatrist. Spesivtsev is a classic example of how parental upbringing shapes the personality of a serial killer. The mother created a monster with her own hands. The triad of a serial killer. Predatory behavior, sadism, consumption. This is a triad that makes a person one of the most dangerous types of criminals. Spesivtsev felt no empathy. He showed no remorse. During interrogations, he was calm, almost indifferent. Could it have been prevented? Yes. If after the first hospitalization in a psychiatric hospital in 1988, Spesivtsev had not returned to his mother. If after Evgenia Guselnikova's death in 1991, a full investigation had been conducted. If neighbors had reacted to the screams earlier. But this did not happen, and 82 children paid for it with their lives. Part 10. Where are they now? Alexander Spesivtsev is held in a specialized psychiatric hospital in the city of Kamyshin since 1996. He is 55 years old, born March 1, 1970. He shows no remorse for what he did. He refuses to discuss his crimes. He is kept in isolation and poses a danger to society. In 2024, after a new investigation, his sentence was extended. Lyudmila Spesivtseva. The maniac's mother was released after 13 years in a penal colony. She is now in her 80s. She lives in one of the settlements of Yugra near Megaion. In 2019, she tried to return to Novokuznetsk and even filed documents to exchange the apartment, but faced fierce resistance from the building's residents. People do not want to see her in the city. Lyudmila constantly writes petitions to various authorities, demanding the return of apartment number 357. Nadezhda Spesivtseva. The maniac's sister still lives in Novokuznetsk. She is often seen with her mother when she comes to the city. She has never been punished. Epilogue. Apartment number 357. Today, the apartment on Pionersky Prospect, Building 53, still stands. New tenants live in it. Over 28 years, many people have changed there. Neighbors say strange things happen there. Voices of children are heard. Screams echo at night. In the city, people say these are the souls of murdered girls, and that as long as the maniac is alive, there is no peace for anyone. The Spesivtsev case is one of the most terrible in Russian history. 82 children. 82 names. Most of them were never identified. Final message. This story is a reminder that evil can hide behind a neighbor's door, that silence kills, that indifference has a price. If you hear screams, if you smell a strange odor, if you see something suspicious, do not stay silent. One call can save a life. The neighbor complained for 4 months about the smell of death. Police ignored the calls. If someone had reacted earlier, dozens of children would have remained alive. Do not be indifferent. Do not close your eyes. Do not stay silent. 82 children could not call for help, but you can. Remember them. Remember Olga. Remember Evgenia. Remember Nastya. Remember the 82 names we will never know. May their souls finally find peace. Subscribe to Red Archive. Here we tell stories about real crimes that shocked Russia. Like this video, share it, and never remain indifferent, because silence kills. Thank you for watching.